I think we're all on board with wanting to be transformed to be as much like Jesus Christ as we can. We know that this takes time, maturity, humility, and wisdom. But we must first acknowledge that what we know is different from what we actually do. And what we do is different from who we are. Many of us know what to do to improve our lives, but we fail to move forward. We may know the steps to take to improve our lives, but something within us sabotages us time and time again. We all have blind spots and dysfunctional patterns that seem to show up again and again. And that's just because our successes and failures are rarely based on how much we know, our skills, or our expertise, but they're almost always rooted in the internal matters of our heart. So dealing with the internal issues, our emotional needs, our instincts, our fears, our insecurities, our ego needs, the triggers, motivations, and our emotional maturity, that will exponentially increase our effectiveness in life and lead to greater wholeness and happiness. The inner work we do leads to the outer fruit we produce. By switching our focus to this inner development rather than only on our outer performance, we're guaranteed to produce the best fruit in our lives. And yes, wisdom is knowledge lived out, but wisdom itself is not transformation. For growth to occur, we must daily choose a different path again and again and again, so that over time, that new path becomes our norm. And as that path becomes our norm, it transforms who we are. Or more accurately, it refines and brings out the true person we were created to be, rather than the shadow version that is often what we show the world and keeps us stuck. Our transformation is a lifelong journey that requires a shift in our thinking, an immense amount of grace and humility, and great courage to keep diving in again and again and again. Believing otherwise gets us in trouble as we take our check form list of learning, or I like to call it our tickety box activities, becomes shallow and our transformation doesn't take root. The quick fix mentality that dominates our impatient world serves only to distract us from the lifelong journey toward wholeness. I believe that each one of us has been exquisitely made in God's image, but in a deeply personal way that is unique only to us. We get to shine a tiny, wonderful, sacred aspect of God to this world. And together, we form a tapestry of images that reflects God in a fuller way than we could on our own. So as we know ourselves and live out of our essential self more fully, we reflect God's glory in the way He has created us to do, in a way that no one else can do. And that is fulfilling the purpose He has for us. However, truly fulfilling His purposes for our life requires maturity. Maturity doesn't mean that I just show up without doing any of the inner work and automatically reflect God's glory. Yes, when we invite Jesus into our lives, He does change us deeply, but that's just a first step. For the rest of our lives, He continues to work in us so that we become more and more transformed into His image, or rather into that aspect of His image that we're created to reflect. And as we work through all the internal barriers that hold us back, that prevent the Holy Spirit from working through us, and as we welcome His refining through the painful work of inner growth, we are living in His will. We are living out our calling. It becomes much, much less about the goals we reach or the major initiatives we accomplish, but it's more about how we live each day, in each interaction, in each relationship. Now, for those of us who are Jesus followers, we get to join in with God's work of transformation in our lives so that we can fulfill our destiny that He has planned in advance for us. As it says in Ephesians 2, verse 10 in the Passion Translation, we have become His poetry, a recreated people that will fulfill the destiny He has given each of us. For we are joined to Jesus, the Anointed One. Even before we were born, God planned in advance our destiny and the good works we would do to fulfill it.